Right now on Denver 7 News at 6 a.m., answers coming today about the Denver police shooting that injured 5 innocent bystanders.
There was all her blood on my hand, and I saw like a bullet entry hole like on the back of her shoulder.
The shooting happened as downtown bars let out, why some say pushing back bar hours could help prevent crime.
New video from overnight, an emotional vigil marking 10 years since the Aurora theater shooting.
We're all victims. All of Aurora was a victim that night.
The other events ahead as we remember the 12 lives lost.
Also, be careful buying tickets to that next concert or game.
It could be the most reputable company in the world. There's still the possibility that you could be hacked.
A new warning as some see their tickets disappearing from their Ticketmaster account.
And move over hikers and mountain bikers. You might start seeing something new on your favorite trails.
While they haven't been the best on the field, the Broncos are getting an incredible honor for what they're doing off of it. Yes, so that is before this year's big Super Bowl win, right?
Oh, yeah, we hope. Yeah.
Russell promised us like maybe, 3 or 4 of them. Why not start with this season?
Sooner the better.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Jessica Crawford.
And I'm Brian Sanders. Yeah, Broncos training camp starts a week from today, but it is also great to know that they're doing great work in the community. Outside today, it might feel a little cooler to start, Lisa, but it's going to be hot once again, and some storms could pop up.
Yeah, not as hot as Monday or Tuesday, but yeah, still in the 90s. But it's really comfortable out there right now. A cooler start to our morning, a weak cold front rolling in here early on. You can see a beautiful sunrise too. We're going to be under a mostly sunny sky this morning. There will be a few thunderstorms this afternoon, but most neighborhoods are in the 60s, where yesterday we were in the 70s. Lakewood right now, upper 60s. Thornton, Arvada, Erie, all at 65. And for the mountains and foothills, some 40s and 50s here early this morning. Take a look at the warm-up. Now, we're going to see a much slower warm-up today, near 80 by about 10 o'clock. So you've got a few hours here early this morning where you can get out for a run, a walk, get the dog out early this morning. It's nice. We are still going to see low 90s here this afternoon with a chance of storms, but this is a little closer to normal for this time of year. Coming up, I'll be tracking those storms, and we'll take a look at our risk of any severe weather here in just a few minutes. Micah?
All right, hopefully not too much severe weather to speak of there, Lisa. We've got 2 slowdowns to tell you about this morning. We'll start here. This is eastbound I-270 from I-25 to I-70, running about 8 minutes. Not major, but we could see that back up within the next half hour or so. Westbound, you're in the green, so you're good to go there. A little further to the south, northbound I-225 to I-25, and I-25 and I-70, there we go, 10 minutes, and southbound I-225 from I-70 to I-25, 10 minutes, so you're good there as well. Now, this is the other slowdown that I was mentioning, westbound I-70 from 104th Avenue to I-25, 15 minutes. Again, not really changing the drive time right now, but that could change over the next few minutes, so I'll be sure to track that for you. Southbound, though, right now, you're looking good. I do have a little bit of a slowdown here on I-76 that I'm tracking. Traffic isn't too backed up at this hour, but it is impacting westbound lanes, so I will continue to track all of those slowdowns for you throughout the morning. However, so far, things are looking pretty good.
Thank you, Micah. Well, Denver police hit 5 innocent bystanders last weekend when they opened fire on a suspect they say reached for a gun. It all happened as a crowd was leaving a Lodo bar at closing time, but after days of limited information, we expect more answers from DPD in their update this morning. Denver 7's Christian Lopez was the first reporter on the scene early Sunday morning and breaks down what we know and what we don't know right now. Christian?
Well, Denver police says it still has to conduct critical interviews before they can provide an update, but we could be getting new information as early as today. And there are still a lot of questions. Many people are pressing police for answers as to why they shot into that crowd of people Sunday morning. The community is asking for transparency after those 5 innocent bystanders were injured when DPD fired their weapons at an armed suspect. While many are still questioning, though, whether or not that suspect had a weapon, it has been determined that Denver police officers were the only ones who fired shots. According to the Colorado Department of Corrections, the suspect, Jordan Waddy, was on parole and wearing a GPS ankle monitor when he broke curfew at the time of the shooting, and now he could face additional criminal charges. All of this happened as people were leaving the bars after a night out, and we did talk to a downtown business advocate who says that he thinks bars should be allowed to stay open a couple of hours after last call. That way people can hang out and sober up.
individuals are forced to consume as much as they can and then kicked into the streets, let out shortly after they've had their last drink. This amount of alcohol hasn't even set into their system fully yet. The environment is not safe, especially if you're under the influence.
And 4 out of the 5 people who were hurt were released from the hospital as of Monday. Several of them have already reached out to attorneys in the area. As soon as we get that update from Denver police, we will bring it to you guys. Live in Denver this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
All right, thank you, Christian. Well, new from overnight, dozens of people gathered to mark 10 years since the Aurora theater shooting. There were candles and crosses with the names of the 12 people who were killed. We heard from one shooting survivor who says community support and the memorial there in Aurora have helped her heal, and it proves Coloradans are resilient.
You've never seen anything really like this around here. Of course, there hasn't been nothing like this that happened, but the strength that people pull together, even people who have lost people in the shooting, people that weren't even involved, the strength of actually the world for this makes me feel like there's strength out there.
And it wasn't just last night. There are more events planned for Saturday, and you're invited. There will be a 5K to raise money for a scholarship started by a shooting survivor. There will be a reflection ceremony at 1:30 p.m. to read the names and honor the victims. At 3 o'clock Saturday, there's a free community event with food trucks and music and more. And then at 7:20, there will be a special art presentation. State Representative Tom Sullivan has been a champion for gun reform and spoke out again in support of tougher laws. Yesterday, his son Alex was killed in the Aurora theater shooting, and today would have been his 37th birthday.
I hope that all of the other survivors and victims have the ability to get through the day. We're all in this together. We all have one another to lean on, and I appreciate everybody taking this time to remember, all 12 of the people who were murdered that day, and the 70 others who were injured, and the countless thousands who were impacted, and have to figure out a way to get through each and every day.
You may have seen in the signage there, Rebecca Wingo was also killed in the shooting. The mother of 2 was excited to see The Dark Knight Rises. That was her first Batman movie. Her friend Marcus Weaver survived the attack. The 2 were separated in the chaos, and 10 years later now, he still remembers how he found out about her death.
I got home and I get a phone call from her brother saying that she was one of the 10 people still in the theater. That just didn't make it out. It was even 10 years later, I remember what that felt like when I got that phone call. Rebecca's funeral, it was tough, and I hadn't cried until after I got up there and spoke, and it was the first time I had cried.
So tonight at 10 on Denver 7 News, we have more of Marcus's story and how he's keeping Rebecca's memory alive through his own daughter.
Dramatic home security video captures a scary encounter in Wheat Ridge. A couple walking up to their home appear to be followed by a car. Look at this. Moments later, as they unlock their door, 2 people get out of the car and approach the entry. As the couple walks inside, one of the suspects pulls a handgun from their pants and points it at the door before running away.
This was a complete surprise. They're really shaken up. They were terrified for their lives.
Police believe the suspects may also be involved in a similar incident. If you recognize people in this video, you should reach out to the Wheat Ridge Police. We have an update this morning after a 12-hour-long standoff. Aurora police say they shot and killed a homicide suspect barricaded inside of a home Tuesday night. This happened on North Oswego Street. 27-year-old Fabian Perry was wanted for the murder of his girlfriend.
Equity is why Boulder is looking to expand where some electric bikes can go on trails. But there are many other factors to consider. Denver 7's Veronica Acosta is out on one of these trails where only standard bikes and foot traffic are allowed right now, but allowing e-bikes is a divisive issue.
The Marshall Mesa trailhead is the one that's right behind me right now, Brian. Already this morning we have seen people walking on it. We've also seen people biking on it. And like you mentioned, soon we could start seeing those e-bikes. That is, as long as community members right here decide That's something they want. The city of Boulder currently looking at those rules, debating whether they should start allowing some of these e-bikes on some of these specific trails, and they have a couple different options. So the first one is allowing e-bikes everywhere where these regular bikes are allowed. We're talking about roughly 54 miles of trails. The second, allowing e-bikes only on 34 miles of its trails, specifically its Plains Trails and Boulder Canyon Trail. And then the third option, only allowing those e-bikes on interconnected trails that allow regular bikes. So that would limit e-bike use to just about 25 miles of trails. The city's principal planner told me they've already gotten a lot of feedback from community members. As you can imagine, some of them really want to be able to put their e-bikes to work on some of these trails, and others don't want them anywhere near them.
A lot of the folks we're hearing from are older adults visiting our open space. They enjoy recreating on open space, but they've expressed that they've made personal choices to begin to use an electric assist bicycle. And the fact that we don't allow electric assist bicycles is a barrier for them to access our open space trails. The concern regards the speed of e-bikes.
So as you heard there is some concern for e-bikes on trails, and then again, there are some people who just really want to be able to use theirs here. Now, if you live in the city of Boulder or you come to these trails pretty often, the city wants your input. So a couple different ways to do that. You can either go in person today from noon to 2 over to the OSMP hub, do that there, or you can fill out an online questionnaire. The city says they prefer you do that so they have a hard copy there so they know what you've said. You can do that over on the City of Boulder's website. In Boulder, I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
We'll get a lot of opinions on that one. Thank you, Veronica. The Denver Broncos are making the Mile High City proud this morning. The good work they're being honored for off the field.
And prices at the newest ice cream shop coming to Denver will make your jaw drop. We've got the scoop on their sweet treats, luring some of the biggest celebrities to the table.